I'm here with my good man Kwan, aka Ikigai.
Correct.
I said that right. I took a shot out of the dark. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
It's not the easiest word, but is it? No, but it's
Yeah, but and I'm very excited to be here. I'm actually being interviewed as well, pretty much talking about the story of the show and pretty much dissecting who I am as a person. So
correct.
I'm gonna get Kwan to take over.
Thanks for joining us this week's vlog. So it's a little bit of a change this week. We're doing more of an interview. I'm here with one of my mates here, Martin from Real Talks with Labzy. So Martin, welcome to this week's vlog. How you feeling, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm always feeling good, bro.
Yeah,
I always love spending time with you, bro.
That's always good.
Always love our chats. Always love our we're hanging out, and always love our deep and meaningful conversations that we have with all the obstacles that we have in our lives.
That's right.
But it's always a good time, bro.
That's
always a good time.
So what we'll try to do is help people and see, how to inspire other people out there. Now, you've been doing your show for quite some time, and I've only just started my show as well. So what we try to do is just try to help people out there. I know it's difficult. In 90.5% of the time, it's bloody difficult. But there is that that 5% or so for us that we cope and we can still manage to get through and produce content and whatnot, and just to help people out there. So let's see how we roll with that.
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
All right, first question. So what's your story with Real Labs Talkie? How did that all come about?
So Real Talk with Labzy came, it was my idea. I've always wanted to have a talk show / podcast. Reason being was because that I always loved the talk show host, the Late Show with Craig Ferguson. And the reason why I loved him so much was because that he would just be himself and do all these random things and little random jokes or whatever, unscripted, and a lot of improv goes involved in his show. And I thought to myself, well, because I feel that I can be myself if I want to do something like that. And that's been the biggest inspiration there. So once I got that little inspiration, I needed to really try to figure out, okay, how am I going to get started? How is this going to, what do I need? What do I need to talk? Who do I need to talk to? What components I need, etc. And it was good because I was a part of a media organization called Fresh Student Media at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so they would get involved with Victoria University, mostly in Footscray.
Oh, right. Yeah, Footscray campus. Yeah.
Footscray campus, right? And so the first time I went there, I met the owner, and we got along very well, and he understood what I wanted to do and stuff like that. And so I became a member, and I started, doing a lot of volunteer work there, understanding about how things work in terms of cameras and radio and all that type of stuff, because that was mostly his field. And when I said to him, look, I want to have my own talk show and stuff like that, they're like, okay, let's sit down together and how we want. Okay. I said, I want a microphone, I want a chair, I want a couch for the guests, I want pretty much the whole talk show shebang set up, right? That's pretty much what I wanted. And because we can only work with what we've got,
obviously, yeah.
Because obviously money is the biggest thing, 100%. Of course. It's we had to only use, because there was a place called oh god, I'm going blank now, but there was a place where they would do like activities as well as like little museums for arts and stuff like that.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called, but we would go there, and then we had our own little office, and then we would just have to book a specific area where we can actually set up whatever we want, whether it's either a stage or whatever it's called.
Was it sort of an open space area?
Yeah, it was like an open space area. Yeah.
So it's sort of like just like a open area. You just go in there, you book the area, then you just set up your own.
Yeah, just set up whatever you want.
You go from there. Right.
Yeah. So the owner would let the people know that, okay, I just need the stage here, I just need the couch here, I just need the chair here, blah blah blah, and then we would go ahead and do that. So it was going really well. Like, it was good. It was a good practice for me to talk to the guests, as well as how to not make it look like a typical interview, because that was something that I didn't want. I didn't want my show to be a typical interview show where, it's like it's a repetitive question, because if you look at celebrities, if you look at podcasters, if you look at any celebrity that does anything involving media in general,
Yeah.
right? It just feels like it's repetitive.
Yeah.
And I thought
100%.
to myself, well, how about we just change it to more of a conversation?
Well, that's the agenda. When we do podcasts like this, we do want it to involve obviously the audience and things like that, and we always want them to feel that they're part of it. And you know what, the engagements of what you're trying to do here is obviously trying to get there. So it's not like I guess old fashioned.
Yeah.
You know, the old fashioned like what's that dude? The guy that was on a current affair for like 50 years.
Ray Martin.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
That kind of old school style was where he'd just sit there and be like.
Yeah, he just reads from the teleprompter.
Yeah.
Either the teleprompter or his own little notes.
Yeah. And I think it feels like the guests will be like very given their own answers to give back. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was something that was very natural.
Yeah.
And I hated that.
It just feels like it just feels like those types of interviews would be scripted.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just feels like, okay, this is the things that you're going to say, and how you say this is this way and this way. So you've been guided to how to do an interview, even though like it just feels like you can't be yourself.
That's right. So
because obviously the public is watching, and that type of stuff. Yeah, man.
Mate, you'd be surprised. There's a couple of surprises down the back of this interview that I only just thought of. So it's going to get you.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So even there, and look. That was a great answer for that question, mate.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Right, Martin. So when you were running, how long have you been doing Real Talk with Labzy for?
Real Talk with Labzy total has probably, I would say, 3 years. 3 years, but independently 2.
Independently 2 years.
Independently 2.
Right. So basically 3 years of doing this podcast, live talk, and whatnot as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So in those, say, 2 to 3 years while you were doing all these lives, your videos, your talks, now, what were some of the challenges you faced? What were some of the difficulties that you came across during your journey from where you started until where you are today? And what did you do to overcome those difficulties?
Well, I mean, it was just getting guests on the show.
Yeah,
was obviously be one of the challenges, because you're not always going to get a yes. You're going to get always going to. I mean, because you have people that want to be on your show.
Yeah.
But they don't want to do it through the phone. They want to do it through either they have the full studio.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
You know, and then there are times where, because the state where I'm at now, I'm only just doing it from my phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I'm only doing it. Pretty much that's the best way to do it in terms of budgeting and stuff like that, and but obviously from the beginning, like I would just tell people, hey, do you want to come on the show? We're going to set up, blah blah blah. And I was lucky enough to get at least, I want to say about 4 episodes out of that.
Oh,
right.
Beautiful.
So obviously we had the guests. We did obviously with different areas. So sometimes we do it in the big area, sometimes we do a little area, just to sort of change it up. Not to always look like it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, look, and then there are people that are like sometimes they cancel right then and there.
Yeah.
As well as you wanna, or if something's not working out for you, you have to force yourself to reschedule because something's not working properly. These types of things, right? But then you just have to understand that sometimes if it doesn't work out, we just keep going. Just because something does not work out does not mean you stop.
100%. Yeah. So when you say what you're saying is, at the end of the day, when we do these plans and whatnot of the ideal podcast or whatnot, or the ideal video or ideal vlog or what it's meant to be. And when they don't go the way you plan it, sometimes you got to script it, or sometimes you got to work out a general guide of how it to work, and it doesn't go to your plan. We don't scrap that, man.
No, you don't.
Yeah, because
that defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because maybe we weren't supposed to have this person on, or maybe It just wasn't the right timing.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like we just really have to have faith within ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something which is another big thing.
100%,
Because whatever you want to do with your life, it doesn't matter if it's a podcast or it's a cooking show or a talk show, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everything starts with you. Everything
100%.
starts with you. If you want to do something.
Sorry, Rob. Now let's say that again.
Okay.
Say what did you just repeat what you did straight into our camera file viewers. Because I think people need to understand that 100% that is facts.
Yeah. Well, for the people that are watching this right now, I will let you know, if whatever it is you want to do, it all starts with you, right? You have to want this, and you have to understand it's not going to be easy. And you probably heard that 1,000 times. But the difference is, when the difficulty is there, you don't stop. When the difficulty hits that, you do not stop at all, right? Yes, it's hard. Yes, things don't go to plan. Same someone who doesn't. I'll wait.
I think we all wait for that.
Well, bro, I'll be a skeleton by the time we're trying to.
I think we'll
then no one will still have the answer, right?
Yeah.
So
that's sick.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the kind of thing like that.
yeah, exactly.
Right. It's not just people watching two guys go,
Hey.
hey.
But then again, you know what? To be fair, like those types of podcasts, like it's kind of but you know what? It's kind of courageous in a way, because people that don't, especially with people with social anxiety,
correct. Yeah.
that have to kind of force themselves to get out of that shell.
Yes.
You know, or create a safe spot for themselves in order to, let it out a little bit and just be like, okay, hey, you know, and and all that stuff.
Breaking that comfort zone is definitely a bloody challenge. I would say. I think you probably can relate to it as well. Obviously, when I guess you first started, and when I first started doing this as well.
Yeah.
Just trying to bypass that first step of actually getting your first video out, or actually just recording out into public and things like that. I mean, we're here at the library in our room, and we're still getting people from the outside windows popping in, because we've got our setup here, we've got the lights, and they walk past, and you can see them just go,
so what's going on here?
What's going on now?
Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you want?
What do you want? Exactly. But in saying that, now that's a part of the fear, or that's a part of the journey that we take in doing these talks, vlogs, going streamed lives and whatnot. So when we do all that, it's just little things that you overcome with time. Yeah. I think, to be honest, the very first video the first video for my vlog that is up there is not the first one I recorded. I've got footage of an entire vlog that I never uploaded. Yeah. Because I was like so scared and feared of that. That was my biggest obstacle.
It was the criticism.
Correct.
It was the criticism, because when especially, and again for the people, whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? You got to learn to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason why you have to do it for yourself is because this is what you were put on this planet to do. Doesn't matter what it is, right? And the biggest pill you all have to swallow, you have to understand that not everyone is going to be on board with what you're doing.
100%.
And it doesn't matter where it's coming from, even if it's family. Unfortunately, as much as we think that, family is going to make us do whatever we want to be supportive, blah, blah, blah. Nah. Yeah, nah. 100%. Until we get famous, we see the money coming, and then that's when they'll support, which is the part that's even more screwed up. They won't congratulate you on the journey that you're about to go on. It's the congratulations when you got there.
That's correct. They don't see the difficulties of the hard work.
Yeah.
So for people who
because they think it's a hobby. Because they think it's just like, oh, you're doing things and what are you doing?
They just think they don't realize how many hours you put in, or how much of an effort you actually put in to get your videos out or your content out and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people go, oh, he's put up a 3-minute vlog or 5-minute vlog.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't see is 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of editing behind the scene,
as well as takes.
Takes.
You know what I mean? You got to think of takes as well, because like sometimes you got to be like, oh, I didn't say this right. I got to say this again.
100%.
And you, oh man, do I say it? Do I say it right like this, or do I say it right like that?
Yeah.
Or do I, and then you'd be like, no, that was stupid. Oh, I breathed the wrong way. Or I made this random noise. No, I got to do it again.
I've done that. So
Yeah.
I'll let you in a little secret. So my first vlog video, right? That intro, you know how I'm sitting at the desk? And
Yes.
that took 15 takes.
Jesus.
Just to get that.
Just to get the mode.
Right, yeah.
The mode,
and
yeah.
It was only about a 15-second intro or something.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey guys, welcome. And it was just like constant. No, didn't say it right. Wasn't clear.
Yeah.
And it's these challenges.
Was the audio even on?
Is our audio on?
Yeah. Well, we're praying at this point.
We're praying, and we're hoping the video hasn't stopped.
Well, no. Well, yeah. Well, let's just yeah.
Well, 1 minute. We're just gonna check the audio.
Yeah. True. Yeah. You want to check that, Quan? You want to check that, sir?
All right, Martin. So next question to you. You've been doing Real Talks with Labzy for about 3 years now. Now, even including myself, we find that the motivation and the inspiration that required to keep going through difficult times, what inspires you and what keeps you going? What are your methods? And what are some of your little advices or little things that you can help our viewers out there keep that motivation going and keeping that little edge that they can keep producing out their products and whatnot?
Now, I want to start with when you're not motivated. All right?
Oh, yes.
Now, when you're not motivated, it is okay. It is okay to take a break. It is okay.
100%.
Right?
Definitely.
If you need to go for a drive, or if you need to take a few days just to sort of, get your mind clear, or whatever the case may be, right? Do that. Right? Make sure before you even tap the record button, right? You have to be ready for whatever content that you're about to post. You got to be ready, right? And if you feel that you're not motivated, then obviously, again, it's okay to take a break. Take as long as you have to, right? Unpopular opinion is that no matter how much you feel that you want to, you don't know what to do, you're trying to do, because the thing is, you're just going to stress yourself out. You're going to stress yourself out too much because it's like you feel like you have to put content out, right? 100%. Don't confuse. That just feels like a chore. It doesn't feel like a want. You know what I mean? Because when you do something you love doing, it's not really a job. It's just passion, right? How do you keep that passion going? Always learning. Always to listen to conversations, whether it's either on Instagram Live or even if you're a book reader, make sure you get a really motivational book to get those quotes or whatever, and then that will inspire you. You have to keep that going, right? But again, going back to when you're not motivated, don't be afraid to just take a break and be like, just go outside and go for a walk along the beach, because that's what I like to do. I like to go for a cruise as well, and just to sort of get away a little bit and then come back and then just smash it out. Even don't be afraid to have conversations with the right people, especially when it comes to, my advice would be talk to other creators, right? And they don't have to be the same what you're doing, right? Because I like to go to a place called Fat, Fried and Tasty. It's in you probably would have seen it. Yeah. It's in Brunswick, Lygon Street on the Brunswick side. On the Brunswick side, okay. Right? Now they are there is a chicken place, amazing place. And, they love to bring a lot of people together, people that are rap artists or singers or whatever the case may be, right? They bring them together just to sort of mingle with each other, work with each other, possibly do songs with each other. It's a great spot to really get people together, to build a community, right? And going back to what I was saying, that you have got to be surrounded by creators. Yes. Is that they don't have to be the same types of what you're doing. They don't have to be. I know people,
same field as you.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's not necessarily the same field, because I'm doing a talk show / podcast. Yeah. I talk to people who, one's a cosplayer in Florida. They used to live in Melbourne.
Oh wow!
I've got another one who are YouTubers, and they do the YouTubers and gamers, right? Okay. As well as you got singers and artists as well. So they're different. They're doing different things, but it still falls in the same category as creating.
Yeah, so they got that same drive or that same dream of creating content or doing what their passion is, rather than saying, I can't work with you because you're not into the vlogging scene. I can't work with you because you're not in the podcast. What you should be saying is, yes, I can work with you because you and I want to make content. Though our content are aimed at a different audience, it is good to be in the same mindset, because at the end of the day, when we do things like this, it is a big chunk of it is for ourselves, for personal development, personal growth.
Yeah.
But it is without our audiences, without our listeners out there, it's not going to get very far, is it?
No.
So what we try to do is, like, you got to work around with the same kind of people who have that same drive or that same passion that they want to go out and do the same as you. So, like, for example, you'll say, like, you go to, what was it, the chicken joint?
Oh, Fat, Fried and Tasty.
Yeah, Fat, Fried and Tasty. It sounds so good already.
I'll give you the menu, Mary. I'll give you the menu. You'll be like, what? This already looks amazing.
Right. I might have to attend one day.
Yeah.
But, so the things, when we do things like that, we try to find that with other people out there, and it's just consistent motivation. And as Martin was saying, books, podcasts, audio, music, whatever keeps you calm, whatever you find that inner peace, whatever it is that you do to get your feet back on the ground. Because when it does, doing these kind of content creating things can be overwhelming. It is sometimes a lot of work, and sometimes it can be a bit
too much.
Too much, exactly.
A bit too much for you.
And when it becomes a bit too much, guys, it's 100%, as Martin's saying, it is okay to stop, have a break, take a couple of days off, or days in time, hours, minutes, whatever you need. But until you find your feet and you get back down, you're settled. Yeah. Reset. Yeah. Reclock. Go again.
Because I wanted to add as well is that if you are ever feeling that you are not motivated, is because there's something's on your mind.
Correct. 100%.
Something's distracting you. Something is keeping you away from your creativity.
Yes.
Right. Whether it's your day job or relationship problems, or whether it's family problems or whatever it is, like, because that can creep up onto you.
Correct.
It really can.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because even if you are a full-time content creator, though, and if this becomes your full-time job, we still have certain aspects of our lives that will affect you.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a major thing that affects you. It could be something nice and small, like your day, annoying you, like you just missed a bus, or you missed your train, or you missed your last train home. Little things like that can just ruin your day.
Yeah, it can consume you.
It consumes you. So when it doesn't have to be major things. It can be little things, but it doesn't matter what big or small. As long as you take that break and you go, pause, rewind it, reset it, go again. And if you hit the same obstacle or the same lack of that motivation that disappears, find it. You'll go back, reset. And if you hit the same, just keep going until you find your way, and you'll keep going forward. Because even with me trying to do this, like, I was trying to put out content on a daily basis. Yeah. Like, that's challenging.
Oh, it's definitely because I feel like that'll consume more of your day than anything else.
Correct. Yeah. So when you're trying to put out content on a daily basis, right, you got to figure out what content, who's it directed to, the editing, the recording. So there's all these little small things that you got to come. And when you start running out of ideas, which happens when you do the content creator, you will run into these obstacles when you go, hey, what am I going to do this week? And you go,
that was going to be another thing that when it comes to me, like I was, especially that there are days where I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Like, what am I going to talk about? And I'm like, my mind go at a complete blank. And I'm just like, oh no, this isn't good. And then again, that's going to stress you out sometimes, because it's like, well, I need to have content. I should always have. I mean, look, because I'll be honest with you, I know I should be doing this, but I don't write anything down. Yeah. Every content that you have seen that I've done, or in here.
Yeah.
Right? Even though it'd be more wise to write things down, because sometimes those, especially when it comes to ideas, if you have an idea, write it down ASAP. I don't care if it's on a freaking toilet paper or on a napkin. Write it somewhere, because that way you won't forget it. Because there have been so many ideas that I thought of, and then I'm thinking, yeah, I should be all right to remember it. By the time I get home, I won't even remember it.
Yeah, it's gone out of your head.
It's all getting out of my head, and then it's like, oh crap. So yeah, if you find an idea, jot it down. Use your phone. I mean, everyone's got a smartphone. Use whatever notes that you have in your phone. Just even write it there, and then get back to it later.
Yeah, write it down. Put it. Do what I do. I text my mate, and he'll be like, "What'd you text me?" I go, "I just had an idea. I can't. I don't have a pen and paper right now to write it down, so I'm just going to text you."
yeah. Whatever helps you remember. Do that. Doesn't matter.
Because you know, well, what is he asking me this question for? All of a sudden,
yeah.
You go, no, sorry, man. It's just for that. And you know, at the end of the day, it helps you out. It gets you to remember. Notebook.
Yeah.
Pen.
Yeah.
You know, so just saying, like, just write stuff down. Now, you don't have to use everything. You don't have to get everything that you write down. But having these ideas written down can also keep your thought process moving forward, because you go...
keeps the motivation.
It keeps the motivation, right? Because you just go, hang on, I don't really want to talk about that. But what it does, it puts your brain or mindset into the right train of thought.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you motivate yourself, and you just keep passing through, and you end up getting through to the next questions or the next part of your life or whatever it might be.
Whatever, yeah, case may be. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Now, so when you do your shows or podcasts or chat, now, yes, as the previous question was saying, that it can take its toll on you, right? So whether it's physically, mentally, you know, whatever affects your everyday life. Now, next question is, how do you plan for rest and self-care for you to recuperate yourself for these casts?
So in terms of rest days, because as I said, I'm very big on mental health. I'm very big on mental 100%. Health, right?
Yeah, you and me.
So I've learned to figure out ways where how do I create a routine of work, obviously my everyday work,
yes,
gym, as well as time for myself, right? And obviously the show as well.
Of course.
So how do I do that is obviously I do, because what's good about my job is I work from 6:30 to 2:30, which is perfect. Because after that I go to the gym, and then I've got the rest of whatever it is I want to do.
Yeah.
As well as because when I'm working stuff on the show, I'm not necessarily doing any recordings. I'm not doing any just random videos or lives and stuff. I'm also networking, so that's a part of that.
Yes.
So that's a part of that. So I'm joining other people's lives. Because I know how to network very well. I mean, especially in America, because there's something about Australia that Americans love. So when I would join on a Instagram live, I would say showing love from Melbourne, Australia, and then some of them were like, "Wow, oh my god, that's so cool!" And then I would join onto their lives. I would join onto their lives on Instagram, and then I introduce myself, and and really speak to them in a way that it sounds mature. You know what I mean? I'm not an idiot. You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of people, people that I follow, and then they do lives. The amount of colorful characters, we'll say, that are on their lives are just being idiots or whatever it is, and and then when I join the live, it's just like, oh wow, this guy's actually cool.
Yeah, he's switched on. He's not your. I mean, I'm guessing Americans do have some sort of stereotypical image of what an Australian like. I'm sure they think we're. I know they.
Well, it's the same thing. Well, I'll be honest with you. It's the same thing with how we see Americans.
True.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll see them in a specific way because of either the media or movies or TV shows or whatever it is.
Yes.
they'll see the same thing with us. Like we don't really have a lot of. I don't know what TV shows of Australia that would show in America.
Crocodile Dundee, mate.
Yeah, right. But like,
they all think.
But then they all think that we've got freaking kangaroos outside right now. They all think we've got freaking crocodiles outside right now. They're thinking of Darwin, by the way, but not in Melbourne. No.
Melbourne, Melbourne's just like I don't know.
Just normal. Yeah, it's a normal city, really.
Yeah, but I think. In regards to our last question, Martin.
Yeah.
Now you're just touching base on, networking and all your resources. Now, what advice can you give us to our viewers and listeners out there in regards to networking? How to go about finding your resources? What did you do to find these resources, and how would these resources help yourself personally? And what can our viewers learn from this potential networking growth that they can help themselves with their own content that they wish to create?
So the biggest thing for me is to show respect. That's the number one thing, right? When you're talking to someone, whether if it's outside of what you're doing, right? And first of all, again, is the number one thing is to respect them, right?
Yeah, 100%.
As well as not to judge what they do. Right, you never, ever judge someone's hustle. Never.
No.
Because we're all just trying to get this money and go home.
100%.
That's it.
We all do what we got to do.
Exactly right.
And you can't. If you start on judging people on what they do or what they say, it's gonna come back and bite you in some way.
Of course. Yeah, exactly right.
And make it worse for you in the end.
Yeah, exactly right.
In the long run,
Yeah, and So I said respect. You also got obviously not to judge them, as well as be yourself. You have to be yourself. Don't overdo it, of course.
Yeah.
But because again, the most powerful thing especially when you're trying to build connections is how you speak. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what types of people.
Yeah.
Right. How you speak is gonna be a reflection on you as well.
Oh. Yeah, of course.
Because I'll give you something that's happened to me that I did not think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of myself that I did this.
Yes.
So there was a radio show in Texas called 97.9 The Box, right? And a person named one of the radio hosts named Young Jazz. Like I would follow the page and because I always followed the hip hop music there. That's how I knew them. And when she was doing live on there, she couldn't believe that she has someone from Australia and stuff like that. And I would go in there a few times to check it out. And then there was one how she was trying to like they were mucking around, like they were just having a joke with one of the other radio talk show, one of the radio hosts, right? And they're like, and then she I still can't believe she did this. So she ended up letting me join in that live.
Wow.
And then we started having a conversation, and we after that little laugh that we had, I thought to myself, hang on, I want to try something. I told one of the other radio hosts, not Young Jazz, the other guy's name is J Mac, right? And I was asking J Mac about, did you do the basketball game with this Texas artist yet? And I got them off guard. This is how I got them off guard, because Texas is their own little thing, their own little spot, and they're obviously popular within America as well, right? And because I knew this from years ago, because they were interviewing one of the Texas rappers, and they were bidding on to see who's good at basketball, blah blah blah. Obviously, nothing happened. So years went by, and I still remembered it, and that's when I pretty much told them about it. Both of their faces was just like, hang on, wait, how did you know about that? Like, and and then once I got that reaction, that's how I knew that I got him now.
You got him. Yeah.
I got him now, and that's how we can start talking. And then they couldn't, and then Young Jazz could not believe the amount of knowledge that I have when it comes to Texas and Houston, even J Mac as well. Like he couldn't believe that I have this amount of knowledge and stuff. And even Young Jazz even asked me, she goes, have you ever lived in Texas or ever lived in America? I said, no, never left the country. She couldn't believe it.
So the knowledge is power.
Exactly right. So the knowledge is power there. So that's how I was able to be a part of a live video on a radio show in Texas.
Wow.
And it's just
you hear that, you hear that, listeners and viewers?
Yeah.
Little small networking, little issues, a little networking, and just our general knowledge of just what you read, what you've come across in your lifetime. Everything is a lesson. Yeah. There is no real mistakes in life. Everything's a lesson. And, as Martin here was just saying, you've learned this,
probably like 3 or 4 years. It was 8 years ago. Years ago.
About...
Because I was a fan of the show. And they would interview my favourite artists as well. And that's how I kind of got to know them.
Knowing that you're following the show for 4 years or whatnot, 3 or 4 years in that time. And for that knowledge to still remain and actually get you. So it goes to show that anything that you guys have learned, that doesn't matter how big or small that you have, these little things, these little networks has projected Martin into obviously new heights. So it's got from something simple as small as just watching the show, having a bit of knowledge. That's why I always say, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching things. It helps you. And in this case, 4 years later or so, thereabouts, many years later, it's turned where Martin has decided to go
exactly
and
right.
do his own.
But not just that as well, because it also helped the radio station as well to realize that they've got fans outside of America as well.
Correct.
And knowing that they go to I mean, look, it just kind of sucks though, because I wish that they had like some sort of digital radio where you can listen to American radio shows, because that would be sick, because that would be a different ballgame altogether. But once I did that, they ended up posting it for a while, but they had to take it down for God knows what reason. I don't know what it was for. Yeah. But then J Mac and Young Jazz ended up following me on Instagram as well.
Oh, you see.
So I still got that. So now they're pretty much,
that's
part of my following.
Go upon the following, and you know what? From networking, from something small as that.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is now, when the good thing about that is a lot of people go, okay, he's followed back, etc., whatnot. But when people got to understand is when you start going live now, you'll know that your little knowledge or little constant effort of building your network here has actually gone you past the borders of Australian waters. Because a lot of our content here, with things like Instagram, YouTube, it's very difficult for it to actually go beyond our waters. It's generally, some parts obviously do go across, other countries and things like that. Like, who knows where this podcast is going to end up? So it's going to go on YouTube, right. But who knows if someone from America is watching it? India, Vietnam, Japan. Who knows what country in the world? But we try to do those little networks. Goes to show you how far your constant efforts and constant hard work that you put in, these little results will show up. It's not a case of, sometimes it is, but it's not always a case of instant gratification. You don't go, I've got to go and do this, and go, how come this guy in America is not following me?
Yeah, no. Okay. See, so all right, now I want to expand on that too. If you've got people that have watched your content or whatever, and don't worry about if they're going to follow you or not, right?
100%.
They are going to remember you. They're going to remember you, but at the same time, if they want to follow you, cool. If they're not going to follow you, cool. You have to not pay attention to which audience am I going to attract. Just let it attract. Just let the content attract on its own. That's what also you got to do as well.
Yeah, 100%. Because when you make the content, you got to sit there and go, how come XYZ is not following this channel? Why aren't they following my blog? What's going on here? No. The part of it is just create the content. Be yourself. Be as interesting as possible. And you send it out, and you know what? The right people will click on your product. The right person will click on your video. The right person will subscribe. The right person will like and watch the rest of your content that you've shown. Just because you've been genuine about it, whereas you come out across, I guess, pushy.
Yeah, in a way,
it's not genuine, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there, when they watch videos or content on YouTube, they go, "This guy isn't being genuine, or he doesn't sound like it's real." this guy's being a bit.
You're going to
fake.
get criticism everywhere.
Oh yeah, my videos cop a whole heap.
Yeah.
And
even you're gonna, as I said, like, you're gonna get criticism from things that doesn't even make any sense.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about comments, by the way, like comments that make no sense in terms of criticism, and it just, you have to try to block that out.
Yes,
you got to learn to block that out and just keep doing what you're doing, because this is what this is for, And not everyone the biggest pill you have to swallow is that not everyone's going to like your stuff. Not everyone's going to understand your content.
Yes.
Not everyone's going to like your content, but at the same time, there are going to be people out there that are going to be so happy that they came across your content.
Yes.
They're going to be so happy. Even with me, like I've got a few. I'm confident to say I've got fans of the show, right? And they've even said to me that, oh man, I love your talks, I love your wisdom, I love all that. It's even helped me. Or someone will say, oh, someone's put it into words, and these type of things are how I say things, and it's helped a lot of people. And don't worry about trying to help a number of people. Just help a person sometimes even that is enough.
That's it. One person at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah, exactly right.
Because if when we do these contents and videos, like there was a guy out there, Hugh, inspired me.
Yes.
So he came across and reached out to me and helped me edit my videos, teach me tips and tricks on how to do my videos and stuff. Before that video, did not know the guy from a bar of soap, man.
Yeah.
Like he popped up on my TikTok. Like, oh yeah, quit a job. This guy was making a lot of money. Like he was earning 125K a year, and he quit that job to become a full-time content creator. And I thought to myself, especially in today's economy,
that's balls. That's balls.
Like a lot of people go, oh, I don't enjoy my job, but it pays my bill. Like I'm guaranteed a lot of people out there now are going, my job is, but it pays my bills. It puts a roof over my head. It puts food on the table.
Yeah,
and that is what attracts me, because I'm like, dude, 125K is a lot more than what most people.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, might be 50-80%, whatever the figure.
Yeah, whatever.
If someone knows what figures are, comment below.
Yeah, please.
But in saying that, so things like that, so when you reach out, little things like that, just little networking. So you never know where your content reaches and where your content may end up.
You don't know how far it will go.
You don't know how exactly.
You don't know how far it will go. You don't know how the types of people that can get your attention.
Correct. You'll never
you can be very surprised. Like I don't know if for the people that are watching, I'm not sure if people know who DJ Manny Fresh is. He's the DJ that used to work with Lil Wayne and Birdman those many years ago.
Oh, Birdman, I'm coming that now.
Yeah, and so yeah, he was looking at he was checking out my show as well. And knowing that an OG like that of like 30 years is checking them, that's a big deal. Even someone that looking at it, right? I mean, I don't know if he likes it or not. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to have the conversation, but you don't. You don't know who's looking at your stuff, especially because it's a very powerful place, and you can get attention from the people that you least expect, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, man, this is great," blah blah blah, and just keep going with it. Just keep going with it.
That's what I'm saying. Thanks there, guys. Listen to Martin right now, and I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Because when I created my content on the Gojo concert.
How'd you go with that?
Yeah, it was great. I sent it out, and I'm like, that concert was amazing, And I'm like, I posted videos. Sorry for the noise, guys. There's a screaming kid out.
Yeah.
So that picks up on the mic. Sorry. Martin, go fix up the kid. No, I'm just...
It's all right, I got him.
It's right. We got this. No.
It's all right.
But in saying that, he actually reached out and commented on my videos. Like, it makes its round. Like, I'm like, I was saying in one of my vlogs, I'm like, I posted it. It's great. I enjoyed his video, his music. And I'm like, I didn't think anymore that, that the actual artist will actually take their time out in their day to go, hey, man, I liked your video.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
And he messaged me the other day going, hey, can I have your footage?
Yeah.
I want to make a video.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's some serious next level. Like, so you never know when it comes to creating content. Don't expect miracles to happen straight away.
No.
It doesn't.
Does not work like that.
Like,
never worked like that, and it never will.
It never will.
Right?
Like
It's exactly the same as going to the gym, lifting, and expecting that you have the best body like that overnight.
Doesn't
It's
happen.
exactly the same thing.
It takes time.
So it's going to take a while.
It takes a while.
And even like if you look at YouTubers as well as even musicians and stuff like that, you know who Mick Mill is?
Mick Mill?
Yeah, the rapper.
Yeah.
He said that he took him 13 years. 13 years to get to the Mick Mill that we know now.
13 years.
That's over a decade, bro.
Far out.
So understand it's going to take time. Don't worry about I should be at this level by a certain amount of years. Nah, get that out of your head. Just enjoy the journey, do what you got to do, and then just let whatever will be.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah, that's facts, man.
Yeah.
So, because people out there, yes, it's good to have goals and whatnot, but if you do not reach these goals, it's okay to not reach these goals. It is a part of the journey. You might have come close, or you might have overshot it, or you fell short. It doesn't mean that I did not reach. I want 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month, and if I don't hit it, it doesn't mean I'm going to quit and throw all this in the bin and go, no, I'm done. Nah, it did not go to my goal. No, like I started at the end of April, I think, so roughly about 6 weeks, and I'm just approaching now towards like say 50 subscribers. I'm going. That's 50 more than what I had when I started. Yeah. So people don't understand. Like, yes, it's a journey. Some people might be lucky and get like 1 million subscribers or 1,000 subscribers in a matter of 6 months. But the goal is you got to keep pushing and you got to keep getting your content out. You got to keep doing the work. Like, I mean, here I am interviewing Martin on the podcast on a Saturday afternoon in a library.
Yep. Crazy, right?
Crazy, right? But we are here.
You can start looking at it. You can start off in a library. Next thing you know, we'll have our own studio.
Correct.
You don't know how far we'll go.
And the funny part is, you know, we will aim until we are successful. And you know, the funny part is, you'll be, you know, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. Yeah. And we're gonna look back at this video and go,
"Wow, that's our first. That's our first video." Now we don't know what we were doing. We don't know, but you know, it all starts with an idea, and then the next thing starts with execution.
And you know what? The fact that we're here doing that.
Exactly right.
There we go. You know? So guys, listen to that one. That's a good, very handy tip there. And now we're just going to ask them to the next question. We got the next question. Now this is a 2-part question. So Martin doesn't even know that there's a bit of a twist to it, but there will be. And you're going to be a little bit surprised, aren't you?
Twist. Yeah.
All right. So last question for the day, technically here. Sorry, that sounds so stupid.
It's all right.
Okay. So the last question at the moment is, what is your definition of happiness?
My definition of happiness is doing what you love doing, acknowledging who you are as a person, knowing that you're not perfect, and always wanting to do better every day. That, to me, that's the definition of happiness. Because when it comes to society, it's like when you try to fit into society, they want you to be a specific way, right? But then too many different opinions are coming from everywhere, and it'll just stress you out. And then the other side of the coin of that will become insecurities, self-conscious, lack of self-conscious. Sorry, as well as you just lose sight of who you are, right? Like you have to really learn to explore who you are as a person and accept that you will never be perfect, as well as knowing that you are just doing better every single day. Like that's my definition of happiness, and notice that I'm talking about yourself. Like I'm not talking about people. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about possessions.
100%.
Happiness is within yourself. Real happiness is within yourself. You have to choose to be happy, right? If there's stuff going on, look, right, you have a right to feel. Of course you have a right to feel. You're a human being. You have a right to feel, right? But happiness has to start with you. Happiness it's a choice, but as well as you have to learn to live that. You have to learn to live the happiness. You have to live with it, right? Because that's how it creates motivation. That's how it creates motivating for others as well.
Huh, yeah.
Because when you're happy, it's like, well, how is this guy happy?
Because your happiness it shines through. Because when
Oh,
you're
yeah,
happy,
exactly.
when you're when you will notice it when you walk around. You go, that guy's pissed off, and somehow it affects you because it
Yeah,
annoys
it's
you.
like what? Yeah, because you're thinking about that person.
Correct.
Yeah, because you're thinking about the person. Because if someone's having a bad day, you're gonna look at the person and be like, why is this person angry?
Yeah.
Like, why is this person thinking he has a good day? He's got a good life and blah blah. But then as you keep like thinking about it, you're thinking about everyone else instead of yourself.
Correct. But when you find that your own happiness
is worrying about yourself as well.
Self-love,
self-care. It's all of that.
It's all that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Martin. That's a very, very comprehensive answer on happiness there. So I hope that answer there really helps our viewers out there. Every definition of happiness is obviously different to each person. But I hope that you guys can take something from Martin's definition here. That makes yourself a little bit more happy. And guys, just enjoy life. Be proud of what you are and who you are. Take each day as it comes, and it will get better each day. It's as we always say, happiness, self-love, self-care, guys.
Happiness starts with you.
Happiness starts with you. Number one.
Here's the twist.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is the very first podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't know who the next person is going to be on this podcast, and nor do I.
Mm-hmm.
However, what I'll do is ask you, what question would you ask this next person for this podcast? You can have any question. So the question that you have will be asked on the next person on my podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't know who, he, she.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't know. Mm-hmm. Don't know when. Because even I don't know.
Okay. All right.
So it's a good question. So any question that you want to ask our next guest, what question do you want to ask on ZENKI'S Ikigai's next podcast?
How is your mental health?
How? Let me write this down because
that's powerful, isn't it?
Practice, guys.
Yeah.
How
is your mental health?
Is your mental health? How's that? So, guys, when you join us on our next podcast, that will be the first question that we will be asking our next guest, and we'll see how that goes with them. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching this week's podcast. I'm here with my mate Labzy. Now, thanks very much, Labzy, for joining us, and thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys have learned something and you enjoyed this video. So if you have enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, please hit that subscribe, thumbs up, like, share, comment. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask our next guest on the show, you guys can put some comments below. And the ones with the most likes on that question will be asked. So I will let the viewers there ask our next guest. You don't know who the next guest is, but we can have a question there. It can be any question you like. What color is your car? What's your name? Your cat? Doesn't matter what it is. Throw that question in there, and we'll ask the next guest. Now, just before we wrap things up, I'm just going to leave you guys to the end of the video with my mate Labzy. Over to you, my friend.
I've had, as I said, I had a really amazing time with you, Zenki, bro. It's been an honor being on here, man. And where you all can find me is just Real Talk with Labzy on Instagram. Real Talk with Labzy is just one word. Go check that out. Go check out the videos. Go check out all the interviews. And if you guys want to be on my show as well, talk to me. Just DM me anytime. And also like, share, subscribe to everything and all the viewers as well. And I've got more content coming out soon. So be ready. I'm ready.
We're ready. Well done. High five, mate. Well done. Fucking good job, bro.
Thank you, bro.
We'll wrap that shit up.
You, Jordan. I love this. As soon as I saw this, I pretty much fell in love with it, really.
Yeah,
so you can see the back. That's the back.
Mate, we're doing a freaking video podcast. You're not a model, mate. What are you doing?
I am a model for my people.